Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. Sorry for the late upload today. Crazy day. I had multiple kids home with me while I was trying to work and just, as those things tend to go, lots of craziness. So, with that being said, I want to talk about the D23 Raffle release that happened over, I guess, last night and today. That one was pretty frustrating to me, and so I'm gonna say the good things they did first, and then I'll rant a little bit. Not gonna make too long of a video, but I think it is worth addressing. I always give them a lot of kudos and praises, right? Need to give them a lot of flack whenever it's deemed necessary, which I feel like this is. So first and foremost, if I was given the opportunity, if I won this raffle and was given the opportunity to buy this box at MSRP, I absolutely would do it. I think that if you got selected, you should exercise your right to buy it. I think you're going to be able to buy it for $99 at MSRP. Current market value is somewhere around $230, $240 on TCGPlayer. You should absolutely buy the box. It's a fantastic product. The reason why I went from $100 in the beginning to $300 over a very short few month span is because it's an amazing product. The cards in it look fantastic, and overall, this is a very, very good collector's edition box. I think the way that they released this product in terms of the raffle was a great way to do it. I think it limits scalping to a certain degree. I think it gives everyone a fair shot. And overall, I'm a huge fan of the system that they use to release this particular product. 10 out of 10, those two things, the product itself, the way they did this release, I'm a huge fan of. Now, where they lose me at is the fact that there were so many of these available. Between talking to people in my community, talking to people on Facebook, people on Reddit, it would appear that there are thousands of these boxes that were given away in raffles. Now, we don't have the exact number, and so this is just me kind of piecing together how many people I'm seeing actually won the auction or won the raffle because I did it. It would appear that literally, if I had to pick a number, I'd say it's probably close to 2,000 boxes out there just based on the sheer amount of people I saw sharing it online. So with that raises the concern of why is there still 2,000 of these out there, for Ravensburger to distribute when the market price is well established at, $250 to $300. There were a few weeks and months there earlier this year, or late last year really, that the box was over $300 in market value very, very soon after release. And so if they still had thousands of them at that time, they should have either been listing them on Disney.com, on Ravensburger.com, having them in the physical locations, right? Like, they should be available at the MSRP and being sold during the time of release. With products like this, you don't set aside a couple thousand to release at a later date. Like, that's not a thing. That's a very, very bad business practice. And it's a very, very bad way to make your trading card game collectible. And at this point, while I am a huge proponent of Lorcana, and I think the decisions they've made as it relates to set cards and things like that are fantastic. I think you have to prioritize the players there. When you make a collector's box that is given out at a certain time and you have to do a certain thing to get it, that should not then be held back to create this fake scarcity to then be released on the market. And so that's very frustrating for me. And that's something that I vehemently disagree with a lot of you on in terms of the set card priority for players versus, them becoming collectible and shorter print runs and all that. Like, I have no interest in shorter print runs to make the boxes go up in short term. Like, I want the boxes. I think they've done a great job thus far. Chapter 1 needed a reprint. It did not need a base set 2 moniker or anything like that. Like, I think the stuff that they've done on the set card side of things is very, very good. But as it relates to these specialty boxes and promos like the Three Musketeers that I've talked about before, or the PAX Unplugged event, these promos that are for a specific event need to be for that event. Like, if you think back to the release of this D23 box in 2024, there were people in the Times Square line that didn't get the box, right? And they took time out of their day to come and get in line for this box and get the chance to buy it at MSRP, and they were turned away. And the fact that happened, but they were sitting on thousands of boxes in backstock, like, that's very, very poor taste, right? Those people should have had maybe gotten a coupon to go and buy it online or something. Like, there should have been some way of, like, these people who took time out of their day to come stand in line and get the product, like, they should have been able to get it if there truly were that many out there. And so the fact that we're seeing thousands of boxes being raffled off, that is just mind-blowing to me. Now, if there were, a couple hundred or 50 or whatever, then, like, look, that's not going to matter even in the short term, not going to matter in the long term. I think that's completely fine. And I should stay here. I said it kind of in the beginning, but the product overall is a fantastic product, right? And in the long term, I have no concerns about this product. There's a reason why I went from 100 to 300, right? So overall, I definitely think it is going to be a buy here, but I think the prices are going to get incredibly low. I think we're going to see 150ish range again, a range that we haven't seen for a very long time. And this, as someone who is a collector and someone who does appreciate rarity, I want that rarity to be, finite, and I want that rarity to be established at the time that these things are hitting the market. I don't need this fake scarcity of Ravensburger sitting on collector's boxes to then release at a later date. Like that doesn't do anything for anybody. I think it's a terrible business practice. And at the end of the day, I think this is very, very poor management on their end. And once again, if maybe they miscalculated the demand in certain areas and some sites had, hundreds of boxes left over while some sites went empty, I get that. That can be hard to judge, and I'm not going to fault them for that. But then make it available online, right? Or give these people who were at the other sites who didn't get the product the ability to buy it online, right? Or do something. Like the fact of that, like there were this many and they just sat there and waited on it, and now they're going to release it when a fair market value has been established for it, I think is a very, very bad business model. And at the end of the day, I want them to sell the boxes that they printed. That's not the issue I have. It's just the fact that they waited till, what are we, like 9 months after the initial release, and then they do it now? That just seems like, once again, they don't really understand the collectability side of things, which is, which I disagree with overall as a principle. But whenever they do stuff like this, it's just like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, why would you let it go for 8 to 9 months? People really start to people coming into the hobby like, okay, this was released a while ago. Like, it was for the D23 event in 2024. Why would there suddenly be thousands more on the market from Ravensburger, right? It's different if there's a seller who bought 1,000 boxes at release and has been sitting on them, then okay, fair play to them, whatever. Like if they suddenly have to sell, that's just good for everybody else. The, supply on the market didn't change at all. But this coming from them, it makes no sense in my opinion. I think it was a miss. Very similar to the Three Musketeer promos and the PAX Unplugged promos being given out at the NA Championships earlier this year. Those promos were given out at that point, they were over 12 months old in the D20 or in the Gen Con 2023, Spill SN, Gamescom 2023. In that example, those promos were over 12 months old, but they were still being given out by Ryan and Steve at a meet and greet in 2025. Like that. That's just not good, right? If you have something for a specific event, it needs to be destroyed after that event. The people who came to that event, who stopped by the booth, that was their reward for doing so, right? You marketed it, you advertised it. That is it, right? You don't then take a stack of them home to give out at a later date. Like that's not how an event exclusive promo works. Very similar to the Scrooge McDuck. And look, I have endless examples of this, but I'll end with the Scrooge McDuck promo that was originally released. I think it was at a toy and board game expo, if I'm not mistaken. You'd have to look it up. In France, I believe, was the original release of that card, and that was the first place it was featured. That card was being bought and sold for over $100 on eBay regularly in the beginning because we thought, us in the States, we thought it was going to be an French exclusive, right? It was given out at attending this event, and then it ended up being a full release promo where it was readily available. I can't remember what it was for, what event specifically. Maybe it was the Inklings promo or something. But it ended up getting down to a $6 card. But there were a lot of copies that changed hands at $100 plus, especially for those of us in the States who thought it was going to be an event exclusive over there. Pretty sure that was communicated at some point, and then became a full set release and became readily available. Which, once again, it's just these promos and these more collectors focused items. There's no need to hold these things back. Let whatever's on the market at the specific event, at the the given print run for a D23 collector's box, sell what you printed. I have no problem with that, right? That's fine. But then don't release them 9 months later down the road. That's very, very poor taste in my opinion. So summarize all this rant and put a bow on it, if I did get selected to exercise my right to buy the box, I absolutely would. The box is amazing, and the long-term list is not going to matter, but this is just another feather in the cap of them not understanding what we want to see from a collector's point of view. So I remain optimistic. This, once again, it's just a blip on the radar. It's very much noise. There's no signal to be had here. They do need to fix this, in my opinion, moving forward. Not anything that's changing my long-term outlook of the game, but I give them a lot of praise, and it's only fair that I give them criticism whenever I find a spot to do so, this absolutely being one. Once again, if it was 50 or 100 boxes, it wouldn't matter at all. I would have no problem with it. It was a lot more than that, and that makes it a problem given the fact that these were apparently sold out in person 9 months ago. If that's the case, they should not be on the market now from Ravensburger. They should have been listed immediately after the event. So, that is it for today's rant. Please let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Look, at the end of the day, it's a good opportunity to get your cost basis down. If you are a fan of this product, which I absolutely am, I will be a buyer for this product. I hope we get to see like $150 price point would be my target and my position to buy in. But for right now, I'm sitting on the sidelines. I think lowest on TCGPlayer is about $230. I think on eBay you can get a lot cheaper than that. Actually, I just refreshed. Lowest on TCGPlayer is $225 now. So it's dropping fast, and it will continue to do so. So please let me know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back with another video soon. Bye.